I'm Mike Sullivan. This happens all the time. We see it on at least a weekly basis where people come in saying that they feel really good about hitting their irons. They hit their irons really straight. They feel good about them, but the driver is always slicing off to the right. Let's talk about it. Or hitting my wedge. This is the way we see a lot of these shots work out. Here we go. That felt pretty good and it looks pretty straight. All right, so when I take a look at my flight scope numbers on that shot, if I look all the way down the bottom, my swing path was okay. My face was 7 degrees to the right of my swing path, so my club face was open. And this chronically open club face is what we see all the time. But you'll notice the ball, if you look at my ball flight on that screen up there, it went a little bit to the right, but not really too bad. But the same swing with my driver is an absolute slice into the woods. And here's what's happening. It's really simple, but people don't really understand it. The reason why your pitching wedge with a 7-degree open face curves a little to the right, and the same exact 7-degree open club face with your driver hits the ball out of bounds, is because of the loft. All right, when you have a lot of loft on a club, so this club has 46 degrees of loft, this pitching wedge. If you have a lot of loft on the club and you cut across the ball with an open club face, right? Or you just hit it with an open club face, either way your face is open relative to the path. Well, when you have 46 degrees of loft here, you're not gonna see a big change in the tilt axis of that ball. So this will give you a pure backspin, excuse me, when the club face and the path are going the same direction, the ball wants to spin on this axis. When your face is open, it's gonna do like that. So for a right-handed golfer, it's gonna slice. So with a 46-degree club, it doesn't change the spin axis too much. With your driver, so my driver has less than 10 degrees of loft. So that's a quarter of the loft of my pitching wedge. Well, when you use that driver and you hit it with a 7-degree open club face, that ball is gonna go way right out of bounds because that tilt is gonna be really, really extreme, okay? So the big thing that you really wanna make sure you're doing correctly is learning how to play golf with a club face that is really close to square relative to your path, okay? We want our club face to be square relative to the path. And if you're slicing the ball, you should even try to get it closed, okay? So what would be the first thing to look at if somebody has this problem where they see the driver slicing off to the right and the wedges feel okay or look okay? The first thing you're gonna look at is your grip, okay? So when you grip the club, if you look right here, my thumb, this is the intuitive way people like to grip it. See, my thumb is right on top of that shaft? Well, that's what we call a weak grip. That's an open face grip. That's gonna make it really hard for me to get my club face square, all right? We wanna see our top hand rotated a little bit so that this V between my thumb and my forefinger points back here at my back shoulder. That's gonna make it really easy for the club to be able to close, okay? Now, let's say, hey Lauren, could you toss me a couple of range balls? I didn't have enough balls here. So let's say you adopt this nice strong top hand grip. And by the way, what should your bottom hand be doing? Put your bottom hand on the club as if you're only gonna hit the ball with one hand. And then your club face and your palm would be going the same direction. That's the main thing I would say about the bottom hand grip, okay? So let's say you've got your top hand on here correctly, your bottom hand is on there correctly, and you're still slicing the ball off to the right. Your club face still is open, okay? What are we gonna do now? Well, we gotta be skillful with that club face. So here's what I would say about it is, work on making small swings and little practice swings, right? And take a look at what your club face is doing. So when I set up here, you see the angle of my shaft is about here? Well, if my face was 90 degrees to that angle, that would be about square. All right, so when you actually take your club back, believe it or not, this particular club face right here relative to my arc is probably actually a teeny bit open. And that's probably actually gonna work pretty well, believe it or not. Most people who have this problem with the weak grip and the open club face, when they take that club back, their face is doing this thing and their face is pointing at the sky. So if you've adjusted your grip and you still think you're having trouble like slicing the long clubs, practice this with a short club. Don't practice it with a long club. Practice it with a short club with your pitching wedge, and let's just work on getting this face, nice grip. Turn your shoulders back and take a look here, and just, if you get that face pointing somewhat towards the ground, you're gonna be in pretty good shape. Start practicing with a slightly longer club with slightly less loft, like a 7-iron, and your intention should be for every ball you hit, if it doesn't go straight, it should go left. So the road to hitting draws starts with big old pull hooks. Okay, so just for say like a week of practicing, get to the range. If you can get there every day or two, that'd be great. And just focus on, okay, I got a really strong grip and I want to make sure that club face is closed every time, and go ahead and hit big old pull hooks. And that's going to be fairly comfortable because you're probably used to already getting the out to in swing path working for you. So like that shot I hit right there, it didn't catch all of it on there, but it launched way left, and I saw that it curved a little bit to the left. Okay, so to fix that driver, that slice with the driver, go back to the clubs that you do hit pretty well, the pitching wedge and the 9-iron. Make sure your grip is strong, and then watch your ball flight and make sure you're able to get the balls starting left, because they're going to want to do that anyway, but get them curving left as well, and then that's going to help you get the longer clubs under control. It's a skill game. You got to build those skills, I'm sorry. I hope that helps. I'll see you next time.